We definitely need to scale. And sometimes when we think about scale, we can never talk about scale and we can never talk about scale and exclude the pricing component or the pricing conversation.
Yes.
So in planning, I think a small part of planning and setting your goals, I mean, ask yourself, what are your revenue goals? Let's select one of your products and ask yourself, what is the revenue goal? So if that product is being sold for 50 bucks or 100 rand, you need to ask yourself, how much are you stocking the product for? And the stocking price is not just how much the retailer is selling it to you for. The stocking is how much you're getting it from your wholesaler, how much petrol it costs you to get there, the telephone costs that go into that, the cost of acquiring that customer is going to buy that product, and what your profit margin is. And then the moment you've worked that out, then do the multiplier effect. If my profit margin is 500,000 rand, how many customers times the cost of the product do I need to sell this product to get to 500,000 rand? The moment you peel off those layers, then now you've got a graver picture of who do you need to be selling to, where do you need to be selling, who can be your immediate customers, your 6 months customers, your 3 months customers, and all the way to being your big business that will probably buy this product at year-end functions or whatever the case is. But that sort of mapping becomes important so that, sales don't happen to you. You don't wake up one day saying, oh my goodness, we just had a spike, but you don't know where the spike came from.
Ooh.
You need to be able to then measure out where those spikes are coming from so that the moment you get that, you're able to jump on top of them.
You've just shared an entire masterclass on business for 2025. Because I think you touched on so many things that are so crucial to the starting point into the point of scaling, which is very crucial. Now, every time we talk about scaling, the biggest question that I've received is like, how do I know when we're scaling? Because I think, and I like that you mentioned mindset, because initially when you start and you're hustling, you just need to get it off the ground and get the sale. But to which point do we realize that, okay, now I need a different strategy, or now I need a different scaling strategy to take this business to the next level?
So I think for me, they're different feelers. I think number one is driven by customer feedback. You'd have customers giving feedback telling you that, we want you to supply us more. Can you deliver more? Or can you deliver to more of our branches, right? And I think when that sort of question or demand comes in, you need to ask yourself very practical questions around your operations. Do you have the right sort of operational tools in place and teams in place to help you deliver? So right now, if you are supplying one shop or one wholesaler with 10,000 goods and they ask you to supply 100,000, do you have the right sort of financing in place to help you? Because you need credit line financing, either from the wholesaler or from your banking institution or from a DFI to help you with that, financing that deal.
Yeah.
And also, so I think then for me, then beckons the question to say, even when you run your business and you're only supplying one institution with 10,000 units per month, operate and run your business as if you're supplying 100,000. What do I mean by that? Talk to other players in the market, delivery courier individuals, and ask them, if you had to deliver 100,000 of our units, how much would it cost? Who is the cheaper player in the market to help us deliver these type of things? If we had to get 100,000 units right now as an order, do we have the capacity? And if we don't, that's not a problem. But who would be able to have the capacity and deliver? So start to have those conversations and almost no strings attached at the moment, so that when that order comes in, or when that sort of those inquiries come in, you can already build, delivery. You can already deliver through external commitments because you've done the back work of that delivery. But the moment you start to deliver those 100,000 units through third parties, it's important for you every single month, every single quarter, look at your sales, look at your revenue, look at your overheads and your expenses. And then anything that you are purchasing or contributes, 50% of the cost of the production of any product, whether it's third party, whether it's service, whether it's a product, whether it's raw materials, then you need to find a way of trying to bring that stuff internally, because it becomes a crucial component to your delivery of your product. And outsourcing becomes a great thing. But over time, when you have no control over anything that contributes 60% to the delivery of your product to a customer, that might compromise you, and you need to make sure that you bring that internally. So that's part of scaling. So I think for me, when you then scale, when you are looking at scaling, is the market ready? Number one, you need to be able to ask yourself, is there a market in the first place for you to scale into, right? Number two, the moment you've identified the fact that there is a market, do you have the more operational capabilities to deliver on this? Operational capabilities are team members, equipment, resources, and stakeholders and the sort. The third thing that you need to ask yourself is, what sort of resources and what sort of turnover will you need to yield, right? I mean, this is the cost of sale. So if I now scale my business to R1 million, what does that mean in terms of our sales? What does it impact in terms of our sales and our scale? So right now, I know that if I need to make X amount of money, it's going to take me 3 months. So if I then need to turn that over into a big amount based off the capital that's going to be required to then start or scale up that business, I need to be able to have that buffer support or cash flow to be able to pay overheads and expenses and all the other things. Because what you then find in most cases is that you find an entrepreneur who shut their business down and filed for bankruptcy because they went ahead and scaled their business and they've got R100 million committal that they worked on, but they're now shutting down because the payment came in way too late. And the payment now comes later, but there's no longer a business when it comes later. And you now need to start all over again.